Hi, welcome to our recap for our September coffee and K plans. We're really excited to be back in person with a live session here in the office this morning. We had a wonderful turnout with our plan sponsors. We brought in another guest speaker for this month, Jennifer Deffenbaugh from Retirement Plan Concepts and Services, which is one of our very wonderful TPA firms. There was just a lot of good information shared, and I guess we'll just jump right into it and do our recap.
So one of the main focuses that we hear on a daily basis from plan sponsors is potential issues that they're having within their plan. We get a lot of questions surrounding eligibility, deferrals, and things of that nature. So we brought Jen in here to discuss the top 10 issues that are found within 401k plans and things that you might find that you're being audited on. So what would you say are the top 3 out of those 10?
Out of those 10, the top 3 are definitely missed or late deferrals, which is not depositing deferrals timely. And the IRS has set out some guidelines for that. Generally, it's 7 business days from when deferrals are withheld from a participant's paycheck that they need to be deposited into their account. For larger audit plans, that is even smaller. So it depends. The IRS wants to see how quickly they generally do it, and then they want them to consistently stick to that schedule. So if it's 3 days, they need to be doing it every 3 days within a paycheck. So the other one is misunderstanding of eligibility and entry date for employees. Eligibility is actually the age, the hours of service, and the time frame in which an employee becomes eligible for the plan. So that might be, for example, age 21, 1 year of service, 1,000 hours. Those are the eligibility. The entry dates are when the participant can then enter the plan. And that might be monthly, immediate following, quarterly, or even semi-annual. So it's really important for plan sponsors to understand both the eligibility and the entry dates for their plans.
So for example, if someone had 1 year of service as of October 8th,
Correct.
And they wanted to get in on October 1st, they wouldn't be able to enter the plan?
No, unfortunately, no, unless their document says differently, but most documents are written that it's coincident with or following the date that they meet those eligibility requirements. So that participant would need to wait until January 1st if they had quarterly entry dates.
Great. So for our plan sponsors that maybe aren't sure what their specific plan has or offers in terms of eligibility and entry dates, where's the best place for them to find that?
I would suggest immediately going to their summary plan description, also known as the SPD, or their plan document. If they have trouble deciphering that, which is understandable, then they can absolutely reach out to their TPA or the advisor. It's someplace that they should utilize as well. And then let's see, you wanted to know one more? Let's see. Also the importance, I would say, the one that most plan sponsors have trouble understanding is the non-discrimination testing. With that, it's really important that you provide your TPA or your bundled plan provider with accurate census data. We need every employee that works throughout the year, regardless of whether or not they're eligible for the plan. That affects the ADP and ACP, which is deferral testing that's required. There's also top-heavy testing and other compensation tests. So it's important that every piece of data that we receive is accurate so we can give you the best results and keep you in compliance with your plan.
So that would include part-time employees as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that plan sponsors, and I've found this out just through experience, tend to overlook some of those part-time employees that they think might not be eligible for other parts, maybe health benefits, but based on their 401k plan document would be eligible for the plan. So it's really helpful for us if you provide that information, and then we can help you determine if that participant should actually be involved in the plan.
Great. Now, one thing that you did distinguish between during this morning's session had to do the difference between key employees and highly compensated employees.
Sure.
And also what constitutes ownership, or how does somebody get characterized as an owner for purposes of testing?
So that is a great question. So highly compensated owner or employees are basically more than 5% owners, or employees who make more than the IRS limit that's set each year. So in 2018, that was $120,000, and that helps determine the 2019 highly compensated employees. Also, attribution is another thing. So any spouse, children, and then a grandparent of a grandchild is considered an owner by attribution. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think that maybe their grandparent works there or their 2 children shouldn't be involved in the plan, but they're actually considered owners even if they don't make over that compensation limit or they're not directly 5% owners on that. So key employees are involved for the top heavy test, and that's a little bit different in that it can be officers of the company that make over a certain limit. I believe the limit last year was $160,000. And that would be true officers. So typically COOs, CFOs, maybe a treasurer. As I said earlier, it's not going to be a bank where you have 75 vice presidents in the company. Those aren't going to be considered officers for the purposes of top heavy key employee determinations. There's also the 5% ownership and attribution also applies to the top heavy testing as well. So while there is often overlap between a key employee and a highly compensated employee, they can differ. And so again, that's why it's important for you to report ownership, family relationships, and compensation in prior years so we can get that testing done correctly for you and your plan.
Okay. Well, we obviously did discuss a lot more information than just those top 3. There was actually 10 that we did talk about and some additional items as well. We are out of time for right now, and we want to thank Jen for coming out and visiting with us. We had the opportunity to actually take her around and meet with several clients as well, which is an amazing thing because we don't usually get her to come out here. She's from Indiana. Yes. So we really appreciate you coming out, and if any of you have any questions for either myself or Renee or for Jen, please feel free to reach out to us. Absolutely. And we look forward to seeing you all hopefully at our next session in October.